Okay, we'd like to call this meeting to order of the Nicholas County Board of Education, regular meeting Monday, October 7th, 2024. And at this time, please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a student expulsion here first, but Mr. Williams is stuck in road construction, so as soon as he gets here, we will come back to that. So let's go ahead and do the approval of the agenda.
For request the executive session after 5A, after the student representative.
Executive session after student representative
Legal matter.
on the legal. Okay. Since we're still waiting, we're going to go ahead and let our student representative, you know, who's holding my volume, right?
Yes.
So Jolena Miller and Alexis Kepler. That's right. Are you by yourself?
Yeah, so Alexis couldn't attend today. She had some stuff to do with volleyball today. But I was just gonna,
Okay, so come up to the podium and tell us who you are, and you got some moral support that you get some moral support with you.
And before you leave, you will be minutes that way, the children.
yes, oh no, of course. I used this.
I don't have a battery.
Oh,
It
come on.
died.
It doesn't matter. Okay, well, hello, everyone. I'm Jolena Miller, and I'm here representing Richfield High School today. So the first thing I want to cover is just a little bit about our sports and how they're doing. So football team's working hard. I don't think we've won any games yet, but we're getting there. Volleyball actually just recently won a game against Highland, Virginia. And they've been working hard as well. The cheerleading, they have a competition coming up very shortly, so they're getting prepared for that. And the band, so the band is always busy, and they have already gone on 2 band competitions this season, and they have already won multiple awards. And then the next thing I want to talk about is our homecoming. So our homecoming attendance for freshman Avery Hammond, sophomore Brooke Bailey, junior Lily Wright, and then the senior court was Cheyenne Bragg, Kaylee Kreitz, Reagan Frame, and Sophie Smalley. And then our homecoming queen was Sophie Smalley, escorted by Gabriel Hunter. So congratulations to him. And then our homecoming dance, it was held on Thursday, October 3rd, and it was definitely a success. The students had a great time with that. Spirit Week. So just wanted to share like what we do to get the students, you know, a little bit of excitement within the school year. So we did PJ Day for Monday. Tuesday it was surfers versus bikers. Wednesday was Generation Day, where the freshmen dress as babies, sophomores dress as toddlers, juniors as adults, and the seniors were senior citizens. So that was really fun because I go dress up as an old person. Thursday was Twin Day, and Friday was the Orange and Black Day for the game. But I will say, I want to say like there was not many people who participated, which is very sad, but our student council was working on, trying to bring that number up because because I'm the student council president as well. We were thinking about giving awards to people if they, did good, like picking the top 3 students. The parade, it was really fun. Each class had their own float, but the freshmen won the award for the best float. And in the game, it was fun. We had a lot of people come, but fortunately we lost, but it's okay. All right. The next thing I want to go over is just what some of the organizations in our school are doing right now. National Honor Society is doing a lot and has done a lot. So they recently did a blood drive, which they donated 27 units of blood products for people in need. So that was a really awesome thing that we do here, or there in Richwood. Okay. We also did the Get a Life program with Richwood Middle School, which I think most of you are familiar with what that is, but we just kind of showed them what life is all about, what all y'all are used to, insurance and cars and stuff like that, gas. We are also sponsoring a donation drive for those affected by Hurricane Helene throughout this week, and whichever class donates the most gets some type of reward. And then we're also, next Friday, we're doing the Heritage Day program with the middle school. So that's really exciting. Also, the student council, we organized the homecoming dance and spirit week. And we're also going to attend the fall conference, which is coming up on 27th, 29th. And another fun thing we did that student council hosted was the door decorating competition, which we hadn't done since we moved into the pods because, it's kind of hard when it's all outside like that. But, we make adjustments to make it fun. So that was really fun. And the next thing I want to go over is the student behavior and performance. So students have been doing well with the new phone policy, surprisingly. Like when it first started, there was a lot more people getting in trouble, but we have also seen a lot more productivity in the classrooms. A lot more students are getting work done. So I think that is a positive change. Most students are doing well in class, although Richwood High School, I know it hosted an interview for students to tell what they think they could be doing better in school. So it was mostly done with the juniors, I believe. They selected some juniors to come in and say, since they've been there a while, say, hey, I think this might need to change. We've been doing this and I don't think we should, which is also very important because I think students should definitely have a say in, since they're the ones that have been educated, they know what's good and what's actually teaching them. And so I was asking students around the school some stuff about what I should say, since people should have a say. And I've heard that there's a lot of vandalism in the pods, bathrooms in all ways, inappropriate stuff drawn or written. But I think we're covering that up and stuff. I just wanted to mention that because it's about student behavior. And the last thing I want to go over is just the student concerns and comments. So I did go and ask around different classrooms and with my peers and ask them, hey, what do you think I should say? Because, they're not here to attend, but I'm coming. So I just wanted them to have a say. And since I'm representing them, I want to represent them properly. So the big thing I heard the most, and I've been hearing for a long time, is we have a really bad sewage problem. And about every student has complained about smelling like a foul odor by the bee pod, and it has been a problem since at least last year. One student even reported they saw sewage leaking out of the side of the bee pod. So, yeah, that's been a pretty big complaint that, not really any teacher can fix or anything. So just wanted to mention that though. And a lot of the students told me they were upset about the new code policy. Students say that in an emergency, so I've heard this mostly like my friend from work was talking to me about it, like in a school shooting, like, will they be able to say their last goodbyes to their loved ones? And I hope, that situation never comes up, but, and I'm not sure if there's any representatives from Nicholas County Career Technical Center or Nicholas County High School in here, but I have friends from there that have also expressed that concern to me. And students also expressed their negative feelings towards the new dress code. Had a couple of people tell me that. And all of them were women. And many students feel like this rule disproportionately targets girls and send a negative message to young women that their bodies are inherently problematic. I had a student tell me that it feels like they're trying to control everything we do. Students feel that adjusting the dress code will create a more inclusive environment and allow students to freely express themselves as who they are. So thank you all for listening to me today. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Very good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do you know one? It's not, you want to go? Do I have to stop right?
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll go back to
All right.
conducting
Thank you.
the disciplinary hearing. So we will need a motion for executive session. Make that motion. Ms. Graham makes a motion for executive session. Conduct a disciplinary hearing on a student. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. 414. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
Make a motion.
Mr. Berry makes a motion, second by? Second by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. At 7:03. We did conduct 4 expulsion hearings and all 4 students were expelled for a year. Don't you need that right?
Okay.
Yes.
All 4?
Yes.
Will their cases be reviewed in semester?
3 of them will be reviewed
December.
in December. 1 is for the year with no review. Okay, so. Ken, that was a 7:04. Did I say that?
You said 7:03.
7:03, okay.
Okay.
All right, so I hate to do this, but to take care of a legal matter, I need executive session. So I need a motion for executive session for a legal matter. That motion. Mr. Beam says 5 minutes, we'll see. Mr. Green makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Ferguson. All in favor? Aye. At 7:04.
redirecting.
I just.
That's good progress.
It's not bad. Good, good.
I don't know, where did Brad go? Am I, he was right up.
Sit out by the computer.
That might be him.
Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
I made the motion.
Mr. Perry makes a motion. Need a second? Second by Mr. Booth. All in favor? Aye. At 7:20. There were no decisions made during executive session. Okay, number 6, superintendent's information updates.
I'm going to reserve my comments for items 8A. So I'll talk about 9 and 10 of the CFP discussion, so we can go on to 6A and.
Okay. For policy 6A, for policy defined by West Virginia Code 18-20-1-11, update annual report review of cameras and audio in self-contained special education classrooms. Ms. Chandler,
We have that, do they have what I wrote in the packet?
you do, we do.
Oh, okay. Do you need me to discuss it or do they?
Just review with what
Okay.
it is.
So we have a system in that principals have to view the cameras for 15 minutes. And we have a form that we fill out so I can document that they are reviewing those in a timely manner. It's 15 minutes per 9 weeks. So I send out monthly emails reminding principals to do that. So I've been checking and make sure. I do monitor the cameras to make sure they're working as well as Mr. Mr. President. And then we also, the principal director, special ed director and technology monitors camera placement, ensuring that the cameras are visible. Sometimes we have teachers that rearrange furniture and then they don't realize that the camera is blocking something that we need to see. So that's why I pop on every once in a while just to make sure. And they're pretty good to make teachers, so we'll check and make sure, but try to monitor that. So we also have audio in some bathrooms if they're connected to a special ed or self-contained classroom, and they're required to monitor audio of that for 15 minutes as well. But we do have a form that tracks that to ensure that they're doing that.
Any questions? Thank you. Number 7, delegations. Do we have any delegations?
No, sir.
Thank you. Number 8, action items. So item A, discussion with possible action on approving the amended 2020 to 2030 CEFP, the following documents. CEFP application for amendment, translating educational needs, and translating educational needs building review.
The CFP is something that every county designs every 10 years. Or the last one was done in 2020. And anytime that you make changes on your plans for your facilities, you have to update your CEFP, which is required by policy every year anyway. Annually, you have to update. So we're doing that tonight. There are 3 things that a superintendent hates to do. One of them is to lay off employees. Another one is to expel students. And the final one is to recommend the closing of schools. And that's where we are tonight. I want to make it very clear at this point that this recommendation comes from me. It doesn't come from anybody else. So any repercussions from it or any criticisms of it or any support of it, I'm the one that's recommending this to the board. I do depend on my directors, my assistant superintendent for guidance on things. But ultimately it's my responsibility to make the decisions that I think are necessary for our school system to be successful. I don't often read to you, but I do encourage our teachers to read to students as much as possible. So tonight I'm going to read you some parts of this CEFP. I'm not going to read the entire document, but the parts that I think are very important for the public to hear, I'm going to read. At the last superintendent's meeting that Mrs. White and I attended, and also the School Board Association meeting that the board members and I attended in Charleston, said one thing. It's not that we have a teacher shortage in West Virginia, we have too many schools. And there are so many schools with so low enrollments, the school systems around the state are really struggling with keeping them open. As of the last count that I received, there was over 20 counties in the state that were going to have to recommend closures. As a result of that, the State Board of Education is extending the deadline for getting those recommendations from December 31st, which is what the usual date is, until February, because there are so many of them going on. There's a lot of reasons for it. One of the biggest reasons for it is the fact that we have lost so much enrollment due to homeschool students and Hope Scholarship. I've been talking about this now for several months, that I was very concerned about our enrollment. In fact, we're losing so many students, and we're keeping the same number of schools, the same number of students, or the same number of employees. And the numbers just don't work that way. You cannot operate a business, and like it or not, school is a business, and lose money every single year. And I'm talking about large quantities of money. We have to look at that. Plus, we have to put our students in facilities that are safe for them to be in and offer them the best educational experience they can have. And currently, we're just simply not doing that the way we should. I never like to throw shade on anybody else, but I think some of these decisions we're having to make could be made earlier, but they weren't. So the charge is left for us to make the decisions that benefit our school system. A lot of people don't realize it, but school board members are held personally accountable for the budget. If you go in the hole, you can be personally sued for that. Well, I don't want to see that happen. Right now, and I talk to my treasurer almost daily, except on days she locks me out of her office and doesn't let me talk to her about our budget and things that I'm thinking about we could do to try to make ends meet. I've used this example also. At home, if you have a decrease in your income at home, sit down with your wife or your husband or your family and say, okay, guys, we've got to tighten our belts. What are we going to do to make the difference so we can pay our bills and keep the lights on and the car running and all these things? Well, school systems are no different. And we're at that point now where we have to make some hard decisions, and we didn't make them. We're going to get some more information in probably the next board meeting or fairly soon on our certified list of teachers we have. Mrs. Weitzel and Janet Martin and Kristen have worked very hard on our numbers to see exactly where we are. And we have made some inroads into the depths that we were in as far as having too many employees for the number of students we have. That's what our funding is based on. And we've made some big improvements, but we're not there yet. And I won't be satisfied till we are there. I won't be satisfied till where our budget, we can live within the means of our budget without having to dig into our contingency money, our savings. Because you need that savings money for a variety of things. Anytime you want to do a building project, you have to have money up front to put in for the SBA as your part of the share. More money you have available to put into that, the better chance you have to get your projects funded. You may have something happen in one of your schools, which is not, we don't have art money for anymore. And a lot of counties live paycheck to paycheck, basically trying to, year to year, trying to just keep their lights on. I don't want Nicholas County to be in that situation. I want us to be able to, if things get tough sometimes, that we've got money in the bank to take care of those things. So I'm going to make those recommendations, and to do that, I want to talk to you about the nature of the amendment. And I apologize in advance for reading to you, but I think you need to hear this. The Nicholas County Board of Education proposes to amend the 2020-2030 Comprehensive Educational Facilities Plan. This amendment modifies the plan for pre-K through eighth grade facility at Lakeview Park to include the students from Birch River Elementary School and Zila Elementary School. This amendment moves students from Birch River and Zila School to Summersville Elementary School in preparation for moving to the new Summersville Academic Complex. These two elementary schools, Birch River and Zila, will close permanently. As a part of the previous EFP amendment, this pre-K 8 grade facility at Lakeview Park will include students from Glade Creek Elementary School, Summersville Elementary School, Summersville Middle School, and this amendment proposes to add Birch River and Zila Elementary Schools to this facility. The proposed amendment to this plan creates a significant cost avoidance as renovations and improvements to the existing Birch River Elementary School and Zila Elementary School are needed if they are to continue operating in the foreseeable future. Presently, our 67 students at Zila Elementary, which is 12 miles away from the new pre-K school site, and 64 students at Birch River, which is 17 miles from the new pre-K 8 school site. Therefore, the board believes it is far better use of our financial resources to combine educational efforts into one new state-of-the-art, centrally located facility. Educationally, consolidating students into a new centrally located state-of-the-art facility allows for greater access to modern resources, technology, and learning environments that are available to older, smaller schools like Birch River and Zila cannot provide. This facility will offer expanded programs, more diverse extracurricular activities, and a stronger teacher base, fostering a more dynamic and enriched educational experience for our students. Additionally, the close proximity of students from different schools provides greater social interaction and community building among those young learners. From a budgetary perspective, this amendment creates significant cost avoidance. Both Birch River and Zila Elementary Schools require substantial renovations to continue operating. By consolidating these schools into a new facility, the district avoids those costs while ensuring the long-term efficiency in operating one modernized building rather than multiple aging ones. This strategic consolidation will also streamline staffing and administrative functions, potentially reducing operational expenses. Birch River and Zila Elementary School require significant renovations to address critical health and safety needs, such as improved security systems, HVAC upgrades, and compliance with modern building codes. The older structures make it challenging to provide a secure and healthy learning environment. The new facility will be constructed to meet all the modern health, safety, and security standards, offering enhanced security features, improved indoor air quality, and compliance with ADA requirements. Students will benefit from a safer, more secure environment designed to support their well-being. The new plan will more efficiently address economies of scale at the elementary level by building one pre-K 8 school that houses 5 existing schools in one facility rather than few smaller elementary schools. Elementary schools are required to provide a large amount of baseline services regardless of how small they are. And by combining the population of a few small schools into one larger school will allow the county to save considerably on operational costs. This will allow the county to operate and maintain less square footage over time and will provide savings in operations and maintenance costs over time. It will allow the county to operate a more efficient, cost-effective curriculum delivery plan as the increased resources and flexible spaces can be offered to students from the 3 schools affected. The new plan causes a slight increase in travel time for some students from Birch River, as the distance from Birch River to the new Lakeview site, as mentioned, is 17 miles. The new plan slightly increases the travel time of students in Zila, as the distance from those students at Zila to the new Lakeview site will be 12 miles. However, the students who travel the furthest from the new school site are still within the statutory mandated maximum travel times. Continued investment in renovating these 2 aging schools would result in substantial financial burden to the district with recurring maintenance and operational costs. The existing plan does not maximize state funds, school will offer a long-term solution for the educational needs of the students. Consolidating multiple schools into a single modern facility assures that state funds are used efficiently. The district avoids the high cost of maintaining or renovating aging buildings and instead invest in a long-term solution. The new school will reduce operational costs, including energy and maintenance expenses, while providing a high-quality educational environment that aligns with the goals of the SBA for a thorough and efficient education. Now, the building capacity of these schools presently at Birch River Elementary School is designed to hold 189 students. Presently, there's 64 there. Zila Elementary School is built to handle 264 students, and they presently have 67 students. Renovation costs for Birch River will be over $1.5 billion to get it up to code and meet all the requirements. Zila Elementary School would take $550,000 to renovate it. It's a much newer building, and so obviously the cost for it is less. Even with the renovation, enrollment numbers, we do not predict them to increase and would remain approximately the same. The other thing I need to mention in our CDFP is announce the dates and locations. We are required by code to let families and communities know when the closure hearings are. We have to give them at least 30 days notice. Therefore, on November the 19th at 2 o'clock will be the closure hearing for Birch River Elementary School held at that school. And from 5 to 7 at Zila Elementary School on that same day, November the 19th. On November 20th, beginning at 5 o'clock, we'll have the closure hearing for Glade Creek Elementary School from 5 to 6. From 6 to 7, Summerville Elementary School, and from 7 to 8, Summerville Middle School, all will be held here in this office. We have an alternative date in case of inclement weather or some unforeseen circumstance. And that would be held on November the 21st, beginning at 9 o'clock, and a schedule will be sent out at that time. The board would then be asked to vote on the closures of Birch River and Zila on December 2nd, their regular board meeting. Summerville, in case I did not say, Summerville Elementary, Glade Creek, and Summerville Middle all be held here on November the 20th. 5 o'clock for Glade Creek, 6 o'clock for Summerville Elementary, 7 o'clock for Summerville Middle. Yes, I don't know what at the same time. Yes. Now, also, I want the public to understand this. At those closure hearings, board members are not supposed to get into a debate back and forth with the community. The community is given an allotment of time. I think it's 3 minutes per speaker. And the board is not to react or answer those comments, or else they can go on indefinitely. So the board then may take all those comments into consideration before they make a final decision in December.
Okay. Well, I'd like to vote on these action items separate from tonight.
Before I go try. Ms. Watson, did I miss anything at all?
No, you do not.
Okay, thank
So we'll go ahead and entertain if you'd like to make a motion to accept action item A.
Make a motion, we accept action item A.
And Mr. Moose makes a motion, have a second. Second. Mr. Ferguson seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion unanimous. Action item B. Discussions and possible action on the approval of the MOU with the Nazarene Camp for the Nicholas County High School soccer teams to practice. That's in your packet.
Have a soccer field and that's again.
And behind the camp, they used it the last couple of years there. They have a big field at
It's just a big field and mowed and grass and they mark it off and that type of thing.
Yeah, and after they mark it off, but it's my kids practice there. The parents have to stay out a coaches are the ones out there down to the field, but they had a big field.
Okay, thank you.
It's marked off for soccer.
Are there no other soccer fields available?
Not really, because you have the Nicholas County Park, it's used and costly, and then Nazareth does this for free.
Breakfast County Park has a soccer field, but that's.
Well, they don't really have soccer fields, they're not lined out, and they're not marked off, but they're utilized by the youth soccer. The grade school, this is for middle school, high school. The youth soccer uses. I'm not aware of any other place they get it from. Then we'll get to new fields.
Any other discussion? Okay, do I have a motion to accept action item B? The MOU with Nazarene Camp for the Nicholas County High School soccer teams to practice. Mr. Berry makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Action item C. Discussion with possible action on the approval of MOU with the Nicholas County Health Department to provide vaccinations to employees and students. That's also in your packet.
If they'll come into the schools to give those or do.
Typically, our health nurses get those and then administer them to the employees. So our health nurses will get those vaccines from the health department, and then they'll give them to the employees.
Yeah.
That just allows our insurance to be billed for those vaccines. Is what the MOU does.
Any other questions, comments, discussion on that?
Just make sure they're making an appropriate announcement, so we'll know when that's available. That's the only thing I was hope for. I'm sure they will.
I know when I was still teaching, we always asked your faculty, or told them, we're going to give shots this day. Okay, if there's no other discussion, do we have a motion to accept action item C?
I make that motion.
Mr. Hughes makes a motion, second by Mr. Berry. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Number 9, consent items, finance.
One thing I have this evening is payment of current invoices. That should be in the packet. Have any questions about? Because there aren't very many since we just did this last week.
How about check 2216020 on page 1, at page 4, excuse me. Is that a reimbursement?
For what was the check number?
First check there. 1,050.
Yes. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say that is in conjunction with the Gear Up project.
Okay.
And that is catering services.
That same page, Somersville Arena for 5 days, 1/4 of the arena. What's that for?
I believe that was for Sarah Lee's Play to Go. Play to Go.
What?
Play to Go, the Play Center had
Oh, okay.
tickets there.
Okay. I heard a little talk about the Mountain State And on page 6, we,
Not state learning. Okay, that actually is, student transfer billing, which is Mountain State Learning is, that's not Mountain State as, Educational Service Cooperative. That is actually a virtual school. It's a charter school. So this year, for the first time, when students leave one county or, charter school and they go to another one, the one who did not get the funding for that student is allowed to bill the one who did get the funding for that student based on how many days that student attended that district. So we have never done that in the past, back when it was just counties and kids going back and forth between counties. It probably was not super significant because kids move in, kids move out. But now because of charter schools and the ability to do this, all of the charter schools are going to be billing all the counties for their days, the portion of the year that they didn't get in their funding. And so then the counties in turn are allowed to invoice the charter schools, in the other direction. However, if the counties choose to bill, they have to bill everybody. So we would have to, in order to recoup the money that we have to send to the charter schools when they bill us, we would have to bill them, but also we would have to bill every county. We can't just bill the charter schools and not bill the county. So you have to bill, if we decide to bill, we have to bill everybody. So we run the numbers and we will be ahead to bill everybody. In this year, we would be billing more than we would be paying out to the charter schools and the other counties. And I recommend that we do that, not because I want to do that, but because we will lose money if we don't do that. And like I said, that's this year. And there's really, in years to come, there's no way to know what years we're going to come out ahead or come out behind. But I think that probably in order to, to come out ahead and not just be paying out as many charter schools, that we're probably going to need to do that. But anyway, that was the first invoice that we have gotten from a county or a charter school
wow.
in that case. And since that check was printed, we have another one, gotten another one. So far we've gotten 2 invoices from charter schools and no invoices yet from counties. But I have to go to a conference next week. And I know that that's on the agenda to talk about. Because I know, a lot of counties aren't happy about that. And a lot of counties hate to bill other counties. I mean, I would just build charter schools, not build the other counties, but that's not going to be an option. We have to do all or none. So,
Everybody's going to be billing everybody. aren't they?
yeah. That's the latest.
How do you keep track of kids going to charter?
Well, they're sending, the State Department has all the data, and so then they send it to us. And actually, they sent it a few times because there were some errors in there. So they'll send us that, and then we have to calculate how much money we're able to bill, because that's different for every county, based on how much money we get per student. So, yeah, there's some calculations in there, and then, it'll be send out a bill, and if you don't get paid, then you'll have to call people and get your money, and I don't know. It's
So you have
just,
to
it's
calculate the days they were here.
we don't have to do that. They do that
Oh,
in
they
the
do
State
that.
Department because.
But you gotta check them, right?
So like I said, so far there've only been 2, but I mean, it's kind of like everybody's gonna have to.
Well, we certainly can't afford to lose any money.
Right. So yeah, so I'm glad that you asked about that, because we needed to talk about that.
Any other questions? I guess there's nothing else on payment of current invoices, so. We've transfer request, as you see. This one that's second transfer. I mean, is it back and forth, back and forth? Do we have to allow that back and forth, back and forth?
It's on the board agenda. We have to bring it to the board.
Well, there's where you go, some sort of, you're saying it's second transfer, so previously they want some sort of.
Is this in the same year?
Yes.
And you keep track of grades. So So we can refuse that as a board. We can say no, or you say it's on the agenda, but do we have an option?
Well, I mean, in county, you can, yes.
You know why they're wanting to go back and forth, is the reason, without giving away too much confidentiality here.
Do you think we need to come up with a policy that addresses this?
Well, I think that, I am concerned, now that it has to be board approved is why you're seeing this. I think it happened in the past, but you didn't know about it because it could not go on a board agenda. But now that it has to go on a board agenda, I do think if you don't want to allow this, then yes, we should have some uniformity. At least, you know,
Well, I
at
think-
least the 9 weeks. I mean, only, you know, once a semester or something like that, because you're right, it does. You know, teachers cover different things at different times and students could miss out on gaps in learning that you're not going to get covered anytime. So I think, you know, it would be reasonable to look at limiting it somehow.
With the open enrollment kind of hurts you because they can just kind of come and go as they please. I mean, that's kind of what open enrollment is. So they have the transportation taken care of. It's hard to deny them. I'm not saying you can, I just,
Right.
but like she said, this stuff never went on board just for this year. Same stuff always going on everywhere. But there's not a lot of this.
And not to my knowledge.
You know, second transfer.
Yeah, you know, parents should have a right to try to make their decisions for their kids. I understand the influence on the school system. But I am a big believer in freedom of movement, Todd's to it, you know, some of the charter school stuff, I get that. But, I'm just a big believer in freedom of movement, parents making a decision of what they think is best for their kids within reason. That's just my opinion on
Well,
I'm sure.
it. And it doesn't happen a lot, but I
I'm sure it
understand.
comes before you all, and you all consider what's going on and discuss it with the parents, or is it just a carte blanche?
Pretty much, it's, if they bring the request, then in order for it to be approved, it has to go on a board agenda to be approved.
and that's why we need, probably will make some people mad, but that's why we need to say, this area goes to this school. If you want to go to a different school, that's fine, but you're on your own as far as transportation.
And I
We've got some buses that are, and it's not just one area.
And I agree with Mr. Ferguson, people should be able to make choices. However, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to settle into a new environment too, and learn the ins and outs of a new classroom or a new school. And, you know, sometimes, you know, a couple weeks is not enough of an
Well, I
adjustment.
don't agree with that. If it was a lot, that's the reason I asked the question. You don't get a lot of this. So evidently, this particular parent, this particular student had a reason for requesting this.
We have to be more careful with elementary because if you move to elementary kids, they have a limit on how many kids they can have in a classroom. The seminary schools, there's no limit. So you don't have to worry about overcrowding the classroom, but in elementary, if a child wants to move into a classroom that we have to hire another teacher for, then we can refuse that. As we wouldn't be allowed to get to your desk. But, the other stuff.
Okay. We have a motion to accept any other discussion? Do we have a motion to accept finance as payment of current invoices as it was presented and student transfer request 1 and 2? Mr. Ferguson makes a motion, seconded by Mr. Green. Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? Reports, thank you. Reports, SESC.
Nothing to report.
Item Horizons, Mr. Green. Okay, we'll go right on to items for future agendas, matters of the board. Number 11. Anybody have first item for the future agenda? Okay. Matters of the board, anybody can comment on anything that they've seen the last week? If not, we'll go into future meeting dates. We have a special LSIC meeting Tuesday, October 15th at Panther Creek. That's next Tuesday, starting at 8:30 in the morning. Then, regular meeting Monday, October 21st here at the board office, starting at 5 o'clock.
We look at the Cherry River, Richfield High School, which was the newest one. That's pretty. I'd like to be there. I have a previous commitment.
Okay, all hearts and minds clear? I have a motion for adjournment. Okay. Mr. Green makes a motion for adjournment, second by
Two schools.
Mr. Perry. All in favor? At 7:56.
Don't look at someone that can make.